So now that we implement, we extend rectangle, extend square into rectangle. The next question is to implement interface regular polygon to class square. So implementing an interface is easy. You just type implements regular polygon. Then the syntax is complete. However, of course there's an error. The square must implement the inherited abstract method regular polygon get parameter. So let's just open this up, and get parameter basically returns a double. And we all know how to do this get parameter. Oops, that's not rectangle. We want to change the square, so we go all the way down. But before main, which should be public. One thing to note is by default, interface methods are all public. So you don't need to define public here. But once you implement this, when you implement this in the class, you need to define this as public. And it will return I believe you want to get length times 4. All right, so let's run this r.get parameters, and because we set this length to 20, so it should return 20 and times 4 equals to 80. Now there's an error. Let's see what's going on. It's undefined for the type rectangle. Oh, because this is rectangle. Okay, this is an error from my side, but this is also a good time to talk about this casting. Right now, Java compiler, this is actually not a runtime error, because as we said, this R is actually pointing to a square method, a square object. So the square object does have a get parameter variable method. However, the compiler sees this R as a rectangle, and rectangle does not have a parameter. So what can you do? There are two ways of handling that. The first way is to force the conversion by using force the type conversion by using a regular polygon or a square. Square here. This will forcibly convert R to a square. I think it does not allow me to do that because square cannot be resolved. Oh, that was because I have a typo. So I'm forcibly converting this R to a type of square. I'm telling Java compiler that this R is actually a square and I need to convert. This is called casting. And once I have this casting, the whole thing in the bracket becomes a square object. And this square object have a get parameter method. So prior to casting, compiler thought this is a rectangle, and rectangle does not have a get parameter. Now that after casting, it is a square, and square has a get parameter definition, right? Now, how about the other way is to create a regular polygon interface. Oops, what did I do? Press the wrong button. So I'm defining a regular polygon P It's going to also be a square. Yeah, this time it's square. Now, this time, if I do a system print r dot get parameter, oh, P, not P, not R, this time it's P. Because P is a regular polygon, it can run this get parameter. So either you define so that's when you see different definitions inside the Java code and how Java compiler sees it. If you see looked at code from the compiler side, this R is a rectangle, this P is a regular polygon. They are both square. Only Java runtime, JVM runtime will know what it is during runtime. That's why we had those errors when we try to invoke get parameter, because compiler cannot tell. So you need to find a way to tell compiler this interface or this class. This instance does have this method. Either you define that with a class or interface that has the method, or you do a force casting.